I want to move on to Gordon Hayward, the Celtics forward suffering a broken left hand in Saturday's win over the Spurs. He is visiting a hand specialist today to determine the next steps. Could require surgery. Chiney, I felt like he was just finally back, right? The first couple weeks of the season looked like an all-star. That, to me, then changed my predictions of where the Celtics were going to be in the East. So now that he's hurt and possibly out for a while, now where does that put the Celtics' future?
Yeah, this really hurts me because as a player that's come back from injuries, it takes you about 2 years to feel like yourself again, and it's been about 3, and so now he's really his best self. He was shooting, 56% from the field, 43% from 3. He was back to the guy we loved and can take over games. Now, the reason why I think this really changes expectations is because they're so top-heavy on their team, meaning 5 or 6 of their guys play most of their points, and he was giving you 18 points. Kemba's been giving you a quiet 24, real quiet. Jason Tatum's playing. I mean, it's kind of quiet because we're talking about Gordon Hayward all the time because of the injury. So, yes, this changes the expectations. I did not expect them to have the best record in the NBA. Now I sort of expect them, hopefully he bounces back from this. I expect them maybe 2-slot, 3-slot because I have Philly coming out of the East.
Yeah, I mean, we also have to take a deep breath. Right? 10 games in. It's like, well, I guess the Celtics are going to be the best team in the league, right? But it does change expectations because he was playing well. He had finally returned to form, and so that gives you optimism that the Celtics are maybe a separator away from the rest of the pack.
They basically added an all-star player without adding the all-star player because last season he was good, but clearly still bothered by the injury. The season before he didn't play, so,
Which, by the way, follows the same trajectory that Paul George went through in his recovery. But the good thing for them is they still have the luxury. They have those 2 wings of Brown and Tatum who are able to step up and do more. And we saw Jaylen Brown do exactly that in that Spurs game. He went out and he had his best game of the year. And, he's missed time earlier this year as well. So if there was ever a team that could survive something like that, it's the Celtics. But we feel bad because this guy fought so hard to come back to this point. And now it's kind of feeling like going back.
And I've always liked the addition of Kemba Walker just because it's like a fusion of the last great point guards for the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas, sort of in size and stature, but Kyrie Irving and his knack to just go after it and be aggressive scorer. So Kemba's working so far, and maybe he'll just take more of the offensive load.
He's an excellent leader.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Unselfish.
No question. And we'll just have to see with Gordon. I think we'll get more news today. It could be the kind of hand injury. Look, Kyle Lowry broke a bone in his hand, and they'll say, hey, we can reevaluate him in 2 weeks. Steph Curry broke a bone in his hand. Now, obviously, the Warriors in a different competitive situation than the Celtics.
Not for the year.
but they've said, hey, he'll be evaluated in 3 months. I know with Gordon, the break, they said was either in his 4th or 5th metacarpal. Am I saying that correctly? And that is a more significant injury than I know. See, with your hand injury, you and me have both broken our hand in the last year.
Stay away from me.
It's better than the thumb, which is what happened to. I mean, it's worse than the thumb, which is what happened to Kyle. So we will just have to find out.
Well, I just spoke with Mark Bartelstein, Gordon Hayward's agent. He is going to undergo surgery on that left hand today in New York. He'll go under in the next couple of hours, and then they'll know better a timeline on Hayward's return to the Celtics. But he was in New York, met with a specialist. They went through and decided that surgery would be the way to go. And we'll know more, perhaps as soon as this evening, about when the Celtics could expect Hayward back in their lineup. Do you have even a rough time frame? Are we talking a month, several months? Do we know how much of the season he might end up missing? I don't, Rachel, and I think they're going to be clear on that once the procedure is done. They accomplish what they hope they do, but they've been cautious on putting any timeline on it until that procedure is complete. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's just hard, I think, for Celtics fans who have finally been like, okay, this is the guy we got. This is the all-star we got. And Gordon played so well in Utah, has had so much trouble since being back in Boston. And to know that he might miss a big chunk of the season is certainly a blow for him personally and for Celtics fans. Thank you for reporting all this news live on the air. We appreciate it. If anything else breaks in the next 20 minutes, we'll see you back again. We know where to find you. Thank you. All right, I'll be here. All right, so Chiney, what do you feel that is going to impact the Celtics now that we know it's not a couple weeks? It is least, when you have surgery, you're out for what?
at least 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months.
At least 6 weeks.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that this is a tough loss just for, Gordon Hayward personally coming back from an injury. And then right when you get your momentum, it's sort of, but I think that's why we saw a surgery happen so quickly. Because, when I had my second injury, I was like, let me have it as soon as possible so that I can get back to being the person I was. But I do think they could absorb this loss largely because Kemba, that's what he did in Charlotte. And then Jason Tatum, Jason Tatum is trying to take the next step, and not just be the guy that people say is good, but he's going to be great. And then obviously Jaylen Brown, he's capable as well. So.
Today I laughed because this injury happened, and I said to myself, you said Kemba's used to this. I'm like, this is still the best team he's ever played on.
Exactly.
Like, even with the injury, it's still the best team he ever played on.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.